Tell me about the music catalog, the publishing catalog that you advised Michael to buy.
We started with the Sly and the Family Stone catalog. We bought some rock classics, People Get Ready by Curtis Mayfield, Dion the Belmonts' Runaround Sue, The Wanderer, When a Man Loves a Woman, Great Balls of Fire, Shake, Rattle, and Roll. But then one day I got the call that the Beatles catalog was for sale. It was called ATV Music, and it was as if we had hit the mother lode.
And you paid?
The price was $47.5 million, and we later merged it with Sony's music publishing company to create one of the biggest publishers in the world, Sony ATV Music, that the estate to this day owns 50% of.
And so how much is that worth today?
I wouldn't want to speculate about what it's worth, but
Come on, John. You didn't make all this money in this town without knowing what your investments are worth.
Well, it would be speculation at this point.
It's estimated to be worth like $1 billion.
Michael's half?
Yes.
Well, you know, you never really know what something's worth until you go to sell it, and we are not sellers. We are not going to sell any assets.
At the time of his death, Michael Jackson had borrowed $380 million against the value of the songs he owned. So the estate had to move quickly to avoid losing the songs to creditors. John Branca sold future music rights to Sony for a reported $250 million. It was the biggest record deal in history. Branca's team also combed through personal video shot during rehearsals for a comeback tour Jackson was preparing for right before his death. The footage showed the talent Michael Jackson still possessed as a singer, dancer, and entertainer, then 50 years old. It was made into a movie called This Is It and was released within months of Michael Jackson's death. So far, it's made over $500 million.
A lot of companies got on board with Michael Jackson once they saw the success of This Is It, and once they saw, you know, Sony investing $250 million for that record deal. You know, then you see Pepsi coming back and doing an endorsement with him. You see Cirque du Soleil coming in and doing the show. You know, I think that those first couple deals proved that Michael Jackson was no longer radioactive.
So death erased all his sins, or even possible sins, or suggestion of sins?
I think his death caused people to remember him as he was in the Thriller years. You started to hear Billie Jean and Beat It and Thriller on the radio all the time. I think that that transported people back to the mid-'80s when Michael Jackson was at the peak of his career.
That's what the Jackson estate and Cirque du Soleil gambled on. Michael Jackson's 1983 Thriller video helped the Thriller album become the largest selling ever. It had 7 hit songs on it. His music drives the touring Cirque du Soleil production. Jackson's estate and Cirque du Soleil are 50-50 partners. And while this show is expected to continue touring for years, a new production opens this week in Las Vegas. It's called Michael Jackson 1, and we were allowed in to watch one of the final rehearsals. This show features more of classic Michael Jackson choreography and more of Cirque du Soleil's signature acrobatic production, created by founder Guy Laliberté. Do people come here to see Michael Jackson, or are they coming to see something else?
I think people are coming here, yes, because they're passionate about Michael. So it's very tricky because you're touching an iconic figure, and you have to be careful because the bass fans there are very, very difficult and demanding.
Making money on Michael Jackson's legacy is one thing. Keeping it is another. John Branca needed a team of lawyers to navigate a litany of claims against the estate.
There were so many claims that were filed, and I can honestly tell you that most of them were ridiculous. Most of them were absurd. people making paternity claims and claims to have written all the songs that he ever wrote. And, you know, when you have an estate and you're in front of a court, you have to take these things seriously.
Every single one? Every
single one.
Settling some, throwing some out?
Throwing many out, settling the ones that we thought were valid. There's a couple that are still pending.
Also still a work in progress is the sorting of Michael Jackson's effects. Michael Jackson, personal clothing. Mm-hmm. This is what he wore. There's that famous jacket.
There it is.
Wow. That's amazing.
This is one of the safes that we have, and
Karen Langford showed us some of the more valuable items, which are kept in this safe, like this sequined glove he wore while on tour. It's estimated to be worth over $80,000 at auction. Can I touch it?
Sure.
Gently.
Gently.
Wow, it's kind of heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. I mean, you can't look at that without... Look how it sparkles.
Yep.
All of his belongings will be preserved until Michael Jackson's children come of age.
This is his shoes.
When they can decide what's to be done with all of it. The more time passes, the more its value, and the more money his legacy generates. Executors Branker and McLean get 10% of what they make for the estate, but their results speak volumes. They've already erased the $500 million of debt Michael Jackson had at his death.
Since Michael Jackson died, the estate has taken in over $600 million.
But he died in 2009.
He died in 2009. And he made...
It's in 4 years, roughly 4 years.
Over $600 million, and that's more than any single living artist has made over that period of time.
And he's not around to spend any of the money.
Correct.
Hold for applause, slow umbrella fade out.
Go to 60minutesovertime.com to see one of Michael Jackson's most personal items, his handwritten manifesto, sponsored by Pfizer.